Getting ready to sell your house? Upgrading can be a smart way to boost your curb appeal and value. But not all upgrades are created equal. Did you know that some renovations can actually deter buyers? In this video, we'll break down the worst upgrades for selling and give you tips to maximize your return on investment. Stay tuned to find out what renovations and upgrades not to do, plus stay until the very end for some cost-effective upgrades and renovations that you should consider when selling your home to attract more buyers. These are in no particular order. Let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about today in this video is going all out on renovating and remodeling your kitchen. Some sellers may consider completely gutting their cabinets, moving appliance locations and rough-ins, adding a huge kitchen island, buying a luxurious Carrara marble for a countertop, etc. You are just not going to get your return on investment on this. Complete kitchen remodels can get very expensive. So my suggestion would be to do something like repaint your cabinets, or update the knobs, or do both if you can. Got an old dishwasher that smells funny? Maybe get a new one. What I recommend to a lot of my sellers, but also my buyers, is wait for a holiday weekend and buy yourself some nicer appliances. Sometimes you can get a bundle, range, dishwasher, and a fridge for a fantastic deal. Or you can get great financing for it, or sometimes both. So definitely see if you can do that. If you do already have marble countertops that have seen better days, consider refinishing it to remove any stains or etching and give it new life without having to replace it completely. One side note about kitchen cabinet painting: make sure you get a professional kitchen cabinet painter. Painting cabinets is not like painting the walls. It does take a lot of work, and the cabinets have to be sanded and the paint has to be sprayed on. Also, don't go with cheap paint. Make sure you use high quality paint recommended specifically for cabinets. Believe me, you will be able to tell the difference between a crappy paint job and a good one. This is the voice of experience talking here, in case you haven't noticed. Get a professional, you'll thank me later. The second area where I would suggest you don't throw a lot of money in, it's in a complete renovation of bathrooms. Maybe change the sink or just the fixtures. Get some better lighting. The major hardware stores have excellent options for lighting and fixtures without breaking the bank. Get a nice coat of neutral paint in there if you can. Neutral paint always helps in the smaller areas of a home. You want to concentrate on making it look nice, but definitely don't gut the whole bathroom and start from scratch. You won't get your investment back on this one. So let's talk about the roof now. If you have a roof that is relatively older, but it's still in good condition, you don't necessarily have to replace the entire roof. Here too, if you do, you will not get your return on it. Roofs can be one of the most expensive upgrades you can do, but you definitely don't want to do it before you sell the home. You will not get your money's worth on this. Having said that, is your roof, say, 10 to 15 years old? You can have a roofer come out, inspect the roof, change any boards that need to be replaced, make sure there's sufficient insulation where it needs to be, make sure there are no leaks, make sure too that there are no missing shingles, or have them repaired or replaced. Make sure to keep those receipts as well to show it to your potential buyer and offer them copies of all of this for their records as well, since it's their home now. It's just good practice and your buyers will thank you for it. But replacing the roof? Probably not the best return on investment on a home. But do patch it up and make sure it's still doing its job. Let's talk about the fourth thing: windows. Another thing that people may want to completely replace when they are selling a home is all the windows in their house. I would also say that's not a good return on investment. Of course, if you have a problem with the windows not sealing, or a broken window, or a window that just won't stay open, in that case it's a spring that probably needs to be fixed, you have several of those going on in the house, sure, of course, repair it. This is going to be far less expensive than replacing all of your windows. But in this market, at this time, replacing your windows, like other expensive things, I wouldn't recommend it. Do fix and repair, and get them clean. More on this later. Fifth, getting a brand new HVAC system. Now, this may be an important one to definitely consider replacing. Most people do care about the HVAC system. at any time of the year. It's important that it's working. So in the case that your HVAC system is broken or close to it, I would suggest getting a new one. Homes with a broken unit tend to not do very well, and in the home inspection, it's going to come up, and it can hurt your chances of selling and going to closing. Now, if you're getting a home warranty that you are going to pass on to the buyer, remember that it has to be in good working order. But if the report already says that it's an older model and it's not working properly, or it's coming to the end of its life, it may or may not be covered in that home warranty. I wouldn't risk it on that one. What I would say is that you don't need to get the latest and greatest model or upgrade for your HVAC. If you just get pound for pound what you're replacing and not necessarily get all the bells and whistles, you should be okay. Save where you can, get a couple of quotes, ask around for recommendations. You may be able to score yourself a good deal on a new HVAC system, and buyers love seeing new HVAC system on the property description. 6. When selling, this shouldn't be the time when you start DIYing projects unless you're a pro. Uneven floors, crooked paint jobs, terrible tile jobs in the bathroom, or electrical mishaps can raise red flags for buyers about the overall condition of the house. Plus, remember that for plumbing and electrical work, most of the time you need to pull permits. Don't try to cheat the system because it will backfire on you. As an agent, I walk through some homes that make me wonder sometimes. Did the seller actually look back at their work and think this was a good idea? For the discerning buyer, it's completely obvious and such a turnoff to see these types of DIY projects. Just don't do it, especially if you want to maximize the sale of your home. Along the same lines, don't add a non-permitted deck or addition. Don't do it. Unpermitted work can be a major red flag for buyers and could lead to financing issues for you and for them. I mean, that's exactly why contractors have to be licensed and bonded. Don't put yourself in that situation. And finally, pool additions. This is probably the worst of the return on investments when selling your home. For the most part, they can be very expensive to build. Then tackle on the permitting and the fees associated with permits, not being able to keep the build schedule, and you can end up with a lot more than you bargained for. Now, if you're staying in the home for 10 years and you want to raise your kids to live in a home with a pool, that's great. By all means, build that pool, but not if you're selling. Understand, when an appraiser comes out to appraise the home you're selling, they may only give you a fraction of what you paid for the pool for an appraisal value. In addition, pools and hot tubs can be a big turnoff for some buyers due to maintenance costs and safety concerns, especially for families with young children. In short, pools can be very expensive, and if you're not going to be actually using that pool and only doing it to attract buyers for the sale of your home, you are not going to win out on getting value out of it on the sale. Okay, so we just went over the things that you definitely shouldn't invest in or dish out tons of money for. So, what are some things that I recommend when it comes to getting your home ready for selling, and that's also going to give you the best bang for your buck and return on investment? The number one thing I would recommend is paint. A fresh coat of paint will give you the biggest bang for your buck when it comes to preparing your house to put it on the market. Remember, you want to use neutral colors, beige for example. If you have some hot pink or jungle green on the walls, make sure to neutralize those walls with a fresh coat of paint. Since we're talking about paint, wallpaper too is a big one. Most of the time, this wallpaper has been on those walls for a really long time, decades even. You would really be catering to a broader group of buyers if you just keep the neutral theme going and get rid of the wallpaper. In my opinion, it would boost the value of your home without hurting your budget. Another area that I would recommend is to clean your windows. Get your windows professionally cleaned. There are contractors out there that's all that they do. It's going to change the whole look of the house, and it's not too expensive. One extra idea I would highly recommend is getting your siding and exterior power washed. On a personal note, we had an investment home that we had kept for about 15 years. One of the things we did was to give the entire house a good power wash. Of course, we paid a contractor to do it. And at the basement level, where it was not siding but block, we repainted that portion of the exterior. I can't tell you how beautiful the house looked. I mean, just doing that gave it such a wow factor. The house looked brand new. While you have the power washer at the house, I also recommend having the Walkways power washed as well. It dramatically changes the look of the house and helps with the overall exterior look of the home. So there you have it, house sellers. My top things to definitely not renovate or splurge on, but also the ones I think are definitely going to be worth the investment without breaking the bank. If you're thinking about selling your home, contact me and we can schedule a consultation to see what home improvements you should do before putting your property on the market. And do it before, like a month or two even. Thinking about selling your home in Maryland? Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you are finding value to what you are hearing and learning. Make sure to check back to get more tips and tricks to selling or buying in Montgomery County. Make sure you check us out on Instagram and Facebook. Links are in the description below. And if you have any questions on real estate, or if you need a vendor, such as a lender or a home inspector, please don't hesitate to reach out. I've got tons of resources and people that I work with that I totally vet for you so that you don't have to. Reach out, I'd love to help. Until the next video.